The restoration of funding by the Labour Party to the UN Gaza aid agency highlights a significant moment of international attention and support for the Palestinian communities. However, this comes at a time of escalating concerns about the impact of Israeli settler communities in the West Bank and plans related to Gaza for occupying Gaza and for selling land in Gaza as well. The humanitarian and socio-economic effects of Palestinian agriculture and goat herding communities are profound and multifaceted. In August 2023, the United Nations and its humanitarian partners assessed the needs of 63 Palestinian goat herding communities in the West Bank, revealing appalling conditions and appalling prospects. These communities, home to approximately 35,000 people, included a significant proportion of men, of women and children who face acute vulnerability because of their proximity to the Israeli settlements and the frequent exposure to settler violence. And the assessment uncovered stories of over 1,000 people from 28 different individual communities who have been displaced since 2022, primarily because of settler violence and restrictions on access to their traditional grazing land. The displacement is particularly severe in the areas of Ramallah, Nablus, and Hebron, which also host the highest number of Israeli settlement outposts. Settler violence, including arson, physical sabotage, unauthorized grazing, has led to the destruction of crops, significant reduction of available grazing land, and administrative measures such as the declaration of closed military areas, land confiscation, further exacerbating the situation, stripping Palestinian herders of their essential resources. Water access has also been critically compromised, with 66% of communities reporting negative impacts from settler actions, including pollution, the vandalism of water sources, and then this is compounded by a reduction in education and healthcare access, with more than half of the communities citing settler violence as a barrier to education and 36% noting its effects on healthcare. The lack of accountability for settler violence remains a pressing issue. Despite filing complaints, only 6% of community representatives reported any follow-up actions by the Israeli authorities, and the inability to build new structures due to discrimination in planning regimes, coupled with the frequent demolitions, results in a loss of homes for many and further destabilizes these communities. The coping mechanisms that have been adopted by these herders include selling their livestock, borrowing money for fodder, changing their livelihood completely, resorting to substandard animal feed. These measures underscore the severe disruption that has been imposed on their traditional way of life and the coercive environment created by settler violence, the movement restrictions, the ongoing settler expansion contributes to a situation that amounts to forcible transfer, a grave breach of the Fourth Geneva Convention. Palestinian herders who once thrived through self-reliance and established livelihoods now require urgent humanitarian assistance. They need protection from settler violence. They need support to sustain their livelihoods. They need basic shelter, education, water, healthcare. And addressing these needs is crucial to mitigate the profound humanitarian crisis that has been imposed upon them. And we need to foster resilience in these vulnerable communities. So while restoration of funding to the UN Gaza aid agency by Labour is a positive step, The broader issues of settler violence, land occupation in the West Bank and Gaza must be urgently addressed to ensure the survival and the dignity of Palestinian agriculture and herding communities that have traditionally been in those areas, even after the 1948 UN resolution that defined Israel as a viable nation, and even allowing for the fact that the initial state of Israel was broader than reached through the West Bank, and that was then reclaimed by the war with Jordan. So there's a lot to be concerned about in Palestine, in Israel, and it's not just about restoring aid to Gaza. It's about looking beyond that and looking into the West Bank as well, unfortunately.